Gonna start this off. Welcome to the show.
It's not bunch of fucking bullshit. It's not Shut up! I hate you so much.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Dude, I fucking hate that. Oh my god. Good morning, you fucking sluts. It's fucking morning. I'm hungover, man. I partied hard last night. Well, I should say I drank a lot. I think I fell asleep at like 11. I don't know. There was still a bunch of people in my house. That's a pretty classic Tom Murphy move, you know. There's a party going on, and I'm just like, fuck that, I'm over it. Some homies of mine were clowning me the other day because for a birthday of mine, I invited over a bunch of people from different friend groups. But then also I invited over people who played music. And so as soon as all the people who played music got there, I fucking ghosted to the garage and jammed a bunch with the homies who play music, leaving all the other guests at the party to mingle amongst themselves without any social lubricant from me, their wonderful host. So my homies were like clowning me because they were like, dude, I can't believe you just ghosted on us, you know, when all these strangers showed up and we all had to make friends. It's like, bitch, what do you think life's for, man? Why don't you learn how to talk to people, you fucking nerd? Yeah, so anyway, I'm pretty fucked up this morning. Big time. Oh, man. I have a dope-ass couch in my place. It's a love seat, two-person love seat. I was moving it back to where, because I moved it into the living room last night to chill. I was moving it back to where it belongs, and I broke one of the feet on it. Sucks, dude. So the thing is, like, I started to move it. Like, I woke up today at 6. I always wake up early no matter what. No matter what. I just get up early. I woke up today fucking early. First thing I did, went on Hinge. Boom, let's go. Try to get laid. Oh, I'm so hungry. This is going to be a little bit of a wild episode. I'm still pretty hammered. I tried to even it out with some cafefe. Didn't fucking work. You know. It's cold now and there's no milk in the fridge to put in the cafefe. So, you know, what are you going to do? Holy shit. Oh, yeah, the couch. So, I woke up 6, straight to Hinge. Then after that, I was like, all right, I'm over this bullshit. Time to do things I hate. So I was like, dude, I need to, set up the living room such that it is prepared. I usually have a table in my living room. Not this table, a better one, more suited for guests. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, I got to move this motherfucking thing back. I go to move the couch back. Now, I've moved this couch on my own before, and every time I do it, it's a delicate operation. Because me, having half of a brain, I know that if I put too much weight on the fucking feet of that thing, it's going to crack. Because I've heard it creak and crack as I moved this couch before. But I'm hammered, and I'm anxious. I don't know, high energy. So I'm like, fuck it. I got it. Let's go. And as I'm going through this bravado, a little voice in the back of my head is like, yo, Tom, you're pretty hammered. If you do this, you'll probably fuck something up, because this is a delicate operation. This couch is old. You're a bit of a hardcore dude. So if you do this, you'll probably fucking break something. And then, of course, I'm drunk. So I'm like, no, that's fucking dumb. I got this. And then, of course, I move it and the leg breaks. So it's like, all that shit they talked in school about, like, drinking, giving you confidence is pretty real. Yeah, so the fucking leg on the couch is broken now, so I got to fix that. I mean, it's a good thing. My dad always told me, love people, use things, So shout out to my father. Love people, use things. My father, I've really come to love my father in the past little while. I went through a teenage rebellion. I say teenage. It was really like my 20s. I went through a teenage rebellion where I was really like, fuck my family. I was like pissed at them for, I don't know, whatever, my own shit that I won't get into. And it's easy to blame your parents for a lot of shit. And, they're definitely, my parents are human. They're not perfect. They make mistakes. But they're both pretty fantastic. I love my mom, but today I'm going to talk about my dad. Just like, because I was, my parents are boomers, so they have a hard time expressing their emotions. And sometimes I would get mad about my dad for that. But then I was thinking, and I was like, fuck, like, he taught me a lot of good shit. And one of the things he taught me was love people, use things. You know what I mean? Which was a way of saying, don't get too attached to stuff because it's not that important. What's more important is humans and your relationships, which is something I think I hold pretty dear. You know what I mean? I feel like strong relationships are a pretty big value of mine. So anyway, I love people who use things. Whenever I break something or lose something, I'm always like, fuck. But then I'm just like, I love people who use things. So it makes me feel better. And then also, shout out to my father. This was later on, but we'll jump into it. Again, I get pissed at my father, for like, whatever, not being able to communicate his emotions well or whatever, the classic, boomer shit. And I'm like, oh, I can't even believe whatever he did, whatever X, Y, or Z, But then I was thinking about it. Well, I should actually be more specific. My dad told me, I think I talked about this earlier, but my dad told me recently something about when he was growing up. My dad is an excellent entertainer, just like me. But similar to me, it wasn't really cultivated when he was a kid. And he told me a story recently that I will never forget because it is so relevant to my life. And he was like, my dad is great at impressions. He's got some good ones. He's a funny guy. I should get a bit more context before I jump in the story. I know I just did a major cock tease, but we'll get to it. But like, there's a moment, when I'm making people laugh, and I call it like you get in the pocket. It's a term from music. Like when you're jamming, you get in the pocket, and it's like you're super on rhythm. You're really connecting with the other musicians you're playing with. You get in the pocket. You fucking slide into the pocket, and you're just, you get in. You get in the pocket, and you're just fucking vibing, and it's so sick. And the same thing happens for comedy. I'll be with a fucking group of people. Maybe I'm high energy, that day. I don't know. I fucking start making jokes, Maybe I'm wearing the right clothes, you know what I mean? I start making jokes. Boom, they just fire. I make a joke, laugh. Make a joke, laugh. I'm just I'm controlling the room. You let your charisma shine. You're controlling the fucking room. And it's just like joke, laugh. It's perfect. I bring this up because my pops does the same thing. I've seen him. We'll go to dinner with like, his old boomer friends, you know what I mean? Or like my parents will go to a dinner at some joint. And obviously it doesn't happen too often. But, maybe he has a couple beers and then he just fucking slips in the pocket and he's just like, you know what I mean? And it fucking kills me because, my old man, he doesn't. The thing about older generation or boomers is they were raised by even older generations. So you got to give them a bit of a pass because it's like, when they grew up, their tools for communication and emotional connection were given to them by their parents who were the generation that grew up in like the fucking Depression. So it's like, I don't think therapy and like popular psychology was really trending during the Dust Bowls. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, give boomers a fucking pass, man. In general, that's why you got to give older people a pass. That actually is my interpretation of the popular virtue of respect your elders. Because I always thought like, fuck you, that's bullshit. Respect your elders. Suck my dick. I'll respect the people who deserve it, who earn it. But the thing is, I think that what that line is really saying is like, give your elders a bit of a pass, because essentially sometimes, not always, definitely not always, but in general, children should be like an evolution of parents. I mean, literally, right? We're the descendants, we're the offspring. So like children of the evolution, we have more tools to deal with the world than our parents did, just by virtue of being born after them, you know. So, oh my God, I forgot what I was going to say. What was I talking about? I was talking about something really emotional with my pops. Oh, yeah, in the pocket. Yeah, true. So my pops is a great entertainer. He can do impressions. He's a great entertainer, you know what I mean? And as I was getting into comedy, we were talking about this shit and just comedy in general and shit. And he told me this story I'll never forget. He was like, Tom, you know, yeah, it's cool that you're getting into this. Like, you know, he's always liked comedy. He's shown me fucking stand up and shit. So he's like, yeah, I used to do comedy, but he was like, when I was a kid, I would do impressions of, you know, I don't know, older talk shows. I'm not sure. Some talk show from when he was a kid. He would do impressions of, actually, if you've seen A Wonderful Life, It's a Wonderful Life, that movie in black and white where this guy like thinks his life is shit. It's a Christmas movie. I forget. It's with Jimmy Stewart. He does a Jimmy Stewart impression, and that's how Jimmy Stewart sounds. And I learned my impression from my dad because he would be like, oh, Tom, it's Jimmy Stewart, you know. Oh, jeez, come on, it's a wonderful life, jeez, you know. Jimmy Stewart talks like that. I gotta go to the bank, Louise, you know. So anyway, he's got impressions, you know. He's got game. And he told me he used to do impressions from some old talk show to his dad's friends when they were over. You know, he was like, I don't know, young, 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that zone. And he would come over and he would do like that. Then he told me when he got older, his dad told him eventually, you know, one time his friends came around, he did the impression, the friends leave. Then his dad told him this after he did the impressions. His dad said, stop showing off. That's fucking crazy if you think about that. The effect that would have on a child who's just coming into his own budding, you know, interest in performance. You know what I mean? To have your father, like one of the most important figures in your life, important role models, to tell you to stop, like, first of all, to stop pursuing something that you love, right? But then also imply that the pursuit of that interest is, in general, negative, right? It's showing off if you're performing. You know, how much more can you fuck a kid up? So, dude, that just stuck with me because a lot of the thing that I had to overcome when I started to get into, like, whatever, performance and art, is the fact that it's okay to do this, and it's not me showing off or being like a total fucking attention hog. I mean, I'm an attention hog already by default, so it's like, what the fuck is you know, I may as well do fucking art now that I'm here. But that was and still is a big thing for me. It's like I don't like to tell people that much about my podcast. I don't like to play music in front of people too much because I always feel like I'm showing off. And it was a virtue that my pops passed down to me, but not like directly like his father did. It was just because he grew up with it. And so, you know, I was raised like that modestly, in a modest way, where it's like, dude, don't fucking show off. I remember my sisters telling me some similar shit too when I was a kid, where it's like, I forget. I remember vividly as a kid talking like a baby, you know, when you get a bit older as a kid, but then you still come, I don't want to go like that, you know? And I was like young. I was like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7. Enough that it was like, enough that it was like, yeah, I could stop talking like a baby. And I remember I did it once because I could get away with it because I was the youngest boy. And then my middle sister was like, stop using baby talk. And she called me out. She called me out on doing it. And she made me aware that I was like manipulating my parents, you know, because you use the baby talk to get what you want. And I remember vividly just being like struck by that, being like, fuck, like feeling so bad because not really realizing that I was doing it, even though you know when you use baby talk that you're manipulating your parents as a kid. You kind of know that. You knew it deep down, but I didn't fully realize it. And then she was like, you're using baby talk, like that's so lame or whatever. I can't remember what she said, but I remember the feeling, just being like, oh God, like fuck, she's right, and getting so mad because you're like, fuck, she's right, son of a bitch. Anyway, so yeah. So, you know, my pops and being raised modestly. So, yeah, so that's how my pops is, you know. He's a great guy. He's super charismatic and super entertaining. But, you know, he's a boomer, so he has the emotional tools that boomers have available. The reason I kind of preface with that is because, you know, sometimes I get mad at him for whatever reason, you know, for whatever is going on in our relationship. And then I go, fucking dad doesn't even fucking know how to do, like, I don't know, whatever, you know what I mean? But then, I was thinking, I was like, but you know, like, he's done a lot of good shit for me too. And one of the things he did is like, he showed me a lot of, I was just realizing, you know, because you're like, what has my dad even done for me, you know, fucking, you know. And then as you get older, you realize, oh, like, no, like, my pops has done a lot of shit for me. Like, he showed me, he would always pick really good movies. And, like, because the reason I bring this up, too, is, like, I put on Van Helsing, which is a movie from, like, the early 2000s. Hugh, what's his name? Wolverine? Hugh Jackman? Hugh Jackman. Wolverine? Yeah, Hugh Jackman? Yeah, whatever. So it stars Wolverine and I forget the actress, some babe actress. And then also in the movie there's like these babe vampiresses, vampire wives, all babes, you know. And they're wearing like scantily clad clothing and they're fucking sexy and shit. And yeah, it's just like a fucking corny ass vampire action movie, and I was watching it. It was like a masterpiece of classic action movie. Like, it's so dramatic. It's really interesting. You should check it out. It's made in the late 90s, early 2000s, but it's like super corny with a lot of like physical effects. I like that. There wasn't that many digital effects, and the digital effects that were there were kind of like goofy. And it's just so cornball, but because it's so cornball, it's kind of good because they don't shy away from anything. They're like, yeah, like this is a goofy ass movie, but it's a lot of fun because of that. So it's like the actors are like super dramatic, but it's like fun because you don't get to see that all that often. You know, people are usually like trying to be like really slick or whatever. I don't know. So it was a neat movie. And I remember my pops being like, we got to watch this, or like either renting it on video or taking me to the theater. I feel like we rented it. I can't remember, but he was like, oh, like this is going to be a good movie. So and he was like, we got to watch this. So whatever, he took me or he got it. And like now just thinking back, I'm like, you know, I can talk all the shit I want about my pops, but he took me to a movie that was like sick, goofy vampire action with cool special effects and a ton of babes. You know what I mean? So it's like, shout out to my pops for hooking it up. And then like he picked Zorro. He loved Zorro, right? Now, if you don't know the Zorro with Antonio Banderas, do yourself a favor and check that shit out because it's a treat also. But not only is that movie a dope fucking action movie, it's also got sexy babe. What's her fucking name? Catherine Zeta. Catherine Zeta-Jones. Catherine Zeta-Jones. She dips beneath the lasers. Ooh. A little shout out to Workaholics, And that in itself is a shout out to the Thomas Crown Affair, which is what they're referring to in Workaholics, starring Pierce Brosnan and Catherine Zeta-Jones. The Thomas Brown Affair, a enticing film about a rich billionaire who becomes bored with his life and so resorts to stealing precious pieces of artwork. In the mix is a single widowed lady played by Catherine Zeta-Jones who becomes entranced by Crown's attractively nefarious ways. You know what I mean? Dude, hire me to write the fucking back of DVD sleeves. Who even buys DVDs anymore? I don't know. So anyway, yeah, shout out to my pops. That was a pretty personal segment. You know what I mean? I love my dad. He's super great. I've started to appreciate him a lot more lately, big time. Also, man, it's just like, I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. Like, I witnessed death recently in the last year or so. My grandmother died. I wasn't that close with her at all, but like, I was in the hospital, as she was in her kind of last moments. And, that's pretty wild. I'm not going to get too much into it besides that, but that's pretty wild. And then also recently, I had an uncle who passed away like immediately at like early 60s. I'm not sure exactly how old he was, but he was early, and he just KO'd from a heart attack. And it's like, dude, my parents are getting old, so I'm not trying to have my remaining time with them just being like, my fucking dad didn't fucking communicate this in the right way to me when I was a kid. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, I'm trying to enjoy my time with my parents while they're still around because they're pretty fucking rad. So, yeah, there's a little sentimental shit for you this morning. Y'all trick me because I'm hammered. I have an insecurity where it's like, dude, I hope, I don't want my best episodes to be where I'm drunk because that would be problematic in multiple ways. Speaking of drinking, the trouble with Whiteclaws is they're not beer. How about that for a profound statement? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, here's a shout out and a diss to the homie Clayton. The homie Clayton, who I mentioned on the last episode, he's like, yo, I like drinking White Claws because beer fucks with my stomach, which is fair. Beer fucks with mine too. But, yo, Clayton, I know you're going to hear this, you little bitch. The homie said he was going to show up last night. I had some homies over. He didn't show up. So, fuck you, Clayton. I know you're going to hear this. Suck my dick. Anyway, whatever. Who gives a shit? But yeah, so he's talking about White Claws, and then I don't know, White Claws are a thing lately. Hard seltzers are a thing. If that isn't the most millennial shit, let's get a hard seltzer. Oh, beer? No, I get bloated. I mean, I'm right on that train. I get bloated by beer too, but it's just like, if that ain't the most millennial shit. It's so funny because a lot of my frat homies, they drink the softest fucking drinks. You know what I mean? The frat homies are drinking White Claws. I remember one of my homies back home, he every beer he buys is like a fruity beer. I like the blueberry beer. And meanwhile, he's like, his icon is like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He goes to the gym all the time. And then he's always like, yo, with the boys. It's like, oh, cool. Like, yo, manly man, what beer did you buy? And he's like, I got a blueberry one. I really like the way it tastes. And you're just like, bro, I feel like that's a little bit anachronistic for your whole brand. You know what I mean? It's like, shouldn't you be drinking fucking PBR or something like tough? Not this fucking fruity ass pussy drink. You know what I mean? You little bitch. The funny thing is, like, I feel like he doesn't realize this, or he doesn't give a fuck. I like to think he doesn't realize it, and he's just like, because he's always talking about how much he loves fruity drinks, and he's like, oh yeah, like this is the best beer, and then he'll talk shit about other beers. He'll be like, oh, I can't believe you're drinking that like beer, like whatever, I don't know, Sleeman or whatever. And then I'm like, in my head, I'm always wondering, I'm like, do you know how much of a fucking knob you sound like right now to be like, yo, I can't believe you're drinking Budweiser, that's fucking lame. And it's just like, okay, first of all, like, fruit boy. Why don't you put your fruit punch down and get a real fucking beer, you fucking child? Oh, that beer tastes like shit. I like this. Yeah, you like it because there's 8,000 grams of sugar in it. It tastes like fucking fruit juice. Why don't you grow up, you fucking idiot? What a fucking tool. You stupid. I like this fruity beer. Yeah, I'd like my beer too if you jam 5,000 grams of sugar in it. You know what I mean? Anyway, so he's just like, dude, I love fruity beer. So the whole frat was into the fruity shit, and like there's a whole bro life too now that's like fruit, hard seltzer fruity shit. It's so fucking lame. Dude, get a real beer, you fucking pussy. So, I mean, having said all that, I fucking love hard seltzers. They're great. But I'm just saying it's pretty funny how everybody's into it. So, whatever, hard seltzer is a thing right now. You know what I'm saying? Hard seltzer is a thing. And I was like, I was going to go get some booze the other day. And I was like, I guess I'll just go pick up some hard seltzers. And then I was like, yo, hold up, man. I don't want to drink a hard seltzer. I want to drink a motherfucking beer. Oh, because there's something about the beer. Hard seltzer doesn't do it, man. There's nothing in a hard seltzer. Seltzer. I like that word, seltzer. I always feel Jewish when I say that. Oh, what? You going to bring a seltzer? How about a bit of water with your lemon, Anyway, I like that word, seltzer. It's hard to say. Seltzer. Fuck, I'm hungry. Anyway, oh yeah, so the hard seltzer. I was like, yo, I guess I'll just get a hard seltzer. And I was like, dude, no, it's not a beer. I want that fucking, dude, it's just the color of beer, golden brown with bubbles and a nice head and a little bit of foam at the top. You pour it. All those beer commercials, man, they did a fucking number on me. Now I'm just like, every time I drink a beer, I vividly picture the fucking cold liquid, golden brown, delicate, delicious, just running down my throat. The bubbles scratching the inside of my throat make it feel so good, and then it hits your stomach and beer, And then after I wrote this, I was like, dude, I'm an alcoholic, but only for beer. Of course, the shitty thing about beer is, you have fucking 4, you feel like you just ate 5 loaves of bread. You're like, Jesus Christ. Also, I've always been an alcoholic lightweight. Now I am big. I had 2 beers the other day. I was fucked up. I got fucked up last night. Of course, we did drink a lot of booze. I've been cutting way back on my drinking though, which is good because, yeah, in general, it's not too sick. I can't believe I broke that fucking stool or that fucking leg, whatever. What the fuck else we got in here? Man, I'm going off today, huh? Holy shit. Okay, what do we got? What do we got here? What's this? Oh, well, I look like a hipster girl's wet dream. You know what I mean? Look at what I look like today, man. My outfit, I love it. Look at my fucking hair. I was supposed to dye this red with the homies, but we just kind of got over it, and I'm enjoying being a blonde. Maybe I still got the red dye, so maybe I'll try to do that myself. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? This lady on Hinge was like, dude, I'll fucking dye your hair for you, but frankly, I don't think I want to go down that road. So anyway, yeah, so I got this red fucking, maybe I'll dye this motherfucker, but I really like it. I was making a bunch of jokes yesterday, I look like a fucking surfer who will sell you meth, you know what I mean? I look like a hipster girl's wet dream. I look like I live in the city but work on a farm, I look like I won't shut the fuck up about growing your own magic mushrooms, you know what I mean? I look like I could potentially join a communist terrorist group, you know what I mean? I look like a farmer who's really into indie pop, I look like an emotionally needy boyfriend. I look like a dude in an emo band who's tried to commit suicide a bunch. The blonde hair, I don't know. I think the blonde hair just looks weird, you know? I mean, no, I love it. But it also, there's that edge to it. You know what I mean? It's like, there's an edge. Like, I feel like dudes with blonde hair like this, they're kind of fucked up. They're kind of wild. You know what I mean? So it's making me feel a bit wild. What am I going to do next? I don't fucking know. But honestly, I fucking love it. You know, aside from all that dark shit where I look like an emo, there's a fun to it that is really fun. And I love the color. Look at the color. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a real golden brown. It combined nicely with my fucking hair to make a nice golden action. So I love it. Dude, it's true, man. Blondes have more fun. Immediately as I did, I was like, dude, I feel silly. Let's play some games, you know? I don't know. So yeah, my fucking hair looks cool. I bought so in the works for me, I'm trying to set up an outdoor comedy special. You know, I guess I have a shit ton of material from things I hate. You know, all the shit I talk about on here. So I'm like, you know, and it's so hard to get fucking stage time in Montreal. And in the comedy scene, like any other industry, you got to like suck dick and network in order to fucking get on stage. Not literally, of course. Well, maybe. But hopefully not literally for me. I won't have to suck anybody's dick. But you have to kind of go be like, could I have a spot? And like, I want to get on, you know. And there's a whole hierarchy and all this. And you got to get vetted. So it's like, obviously, I have no patience for any of that, of course. So I'm like, fuck this. I'll just make my own show. So I did this with things I hate. And then I was like, dude, I want to do stand-up. I don't want to fucking be a piece of shit podcaster. So I was like, I want to do stand-up. And I was talking shit, telling some of my friends. And I was like, I'm thinking about buying a portable mic. And then one of my friends was like, you should fucking do it, pussy, essentially. She said it a lot nicer. She was very supportive, but she was essentially said that. And I was like, that's a great point. You know what I mean? And so I bought a portable mic. Or excuse me, a portable amp that came with a mic. Now, good news is it's arrived. It's in my house. Bad news is it came with a fucked up battery and it can't hold a charge. Good news is I already talked to the fucking company and they're sending me a new battery. So I'm in the process of practicing my routine to put together a set. I talked to a homie of mine, the same homie who likes fucking fruity beers. What a fucking tool. And he was like, dude, I'll help you film it because he's a good videographer and he's in the film. Another homie of mine who's also in the film was like, dude, like, I'll help you edit it. He's in LA, but he's like, yo, I'll help you edit. Like, send me the footy. So, you know, again, wonderful support from my friends and networks. I couldn't have done this without a lot of you listening. Shout out to all you OG listeners too who've been with it. I'm getting a little sentimental. You know, it's just like there's a real core of a couple people who stay on it, you know, and who are like, oh, remember in that episode when you talked about X? And I'm like, how the fuck? Like, what? I'm always like, how? I've told this before, but I'm like, how did you know that? And they're like, you talked about your show. And I'm like, it still blows my mind. So anyway, shout out to all you guys listening, you know, all 25 of you. But yeah, what was it? Oh, yeah, so the special. I'm thinking I have about a half hour worth of material for stand-up. I'm not going to lie, a lot of it's going to be from things I hate. So if you're keeping abreast of the clips, you'll probably recognize all of it. But there'll be like some new taglines, maybe some new material if I can put it in there. The thought process I'm in is like, yo, it would be sick if I could do recurring show every week in the summer outside. Of course, that begs the question is like, well, are you going to do the same material or new material every week if you did that? Both of those pose challenges, right? If I do the same material every week, how the fuck am I going to get people to come out? You know, I got to get a fresh audience every week. That is a fucking tall task. Pretty much impossible, I'd say, for my skill set and patience to get a new audience out every week. So then the other route is, okay, well, then you're going to do new material with the same people. First of all, getting those people out there would still be hard regardless. You know, it's like my friends don't want to come see me do stand-up well, actually, maybe. But anyway, even if I can get an audience, writing new material every week for you know, to put together like a show, like an evening would be like at least half an hour of new material every week would be tough. Like again, artistically impossible, I think. I don't think I could do a good job at that. I don't know, maybe. But anyway, so if I approach it from a recurring show standpoint, it has large challenges, big challenges. If I approach it from a one-time thing, way more doable. But then the context would be, well, like, okay, Tom, this is kind of like a comedy special then, where you do a one shot, you record it. So that is kind of how it feels. I record my first special a year into my career with like, having been on stage probably about a dozen times. So it feels premature. But, again, the context with which I'm operating in, it also feels logical. So, I don't know. The fuck. But anyway, I have the amp, and I'm putting together that band. I'm practicing my routine. I'm going to do it at some point. I'm hoping to get it done before June. That might be ambitious, so it'll maybe be like mid-July, early July. It's going to be in Ottawa or Montreal. I don't know where, but it's going to be one of those two. It's probably going to be outside. A friend of mine last night suggested I do it in my backyard in Montreal, which is like a shared terrace with my neighbors. Great suggestion. I might fucking do that. I don't know. Yeah, so that, and then on that kind of note too, the shirts should be here soon. I'm going back to Ottawa next weekend, and I'm hoping to have the shirts by then so that I can fucking do deliveries. The dude who I buy them from, he was like, when we talked initially about them, it's like about a month ago, he was like, I think I can get them to you by June 10th. It's June 12th today, so game over. But I messaged him for an update a while ago, and he was like, I think they're going to be there in a few days. Really hoping they get here before next weekend, because I'd love to do a distribution of the shirts in Ottawa. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, so shirts are coming in hot soon. If you bought a shirt, again, fucking bless. I'm going to do a fucking another shirt run, so stay tuned to my Griggity Gram for that. So what's up? God, I'm going off today. Get fucked. We didn't even really, that was just a preamble, man. We barely even got into a couple things here. What do we, God, this is, oh, dude, I'm fucking, yeah, I'm drunk still for sure. My sister answers the phone like a stranger. Yo, it's 2021. We've had caller ID for, I don't know, over a decade, if not more, over 2 decades. My sister still answers the phone like this. Hello? Tom? She's like, Tom? Yes, Denise, it's me. You're not 80. You know how a phone works, Then I called her out on this. I was like, Denise, why do you always answer the phone like you're confused? She's like, I guess it's because I'm old. Which, you know what? As I realize, don't be that fucking person. Don't say you're old if you're under 70, okay? You know what I mean? I mean, like, if I think it's okay. I do it when I'm like, like, oh, I'm getting old. It's okay if you're like, if you're kind of joking. But I hate it when people use it as like an excuse to be ignorant. You know what I mean? Or like to justify some kind of behavior. You know what I mean? When they're like, oh, I don't know how to use technology. I'm old. No, you're not. You're a fucking millennial. We all grew up around technology. You fucking know how to use technology. Figure it out. You know what I mean? Shut up. It's the same kind of vibe when people are like the generation guy. Oh, I don't like this generation. I wish I grew up in the 70s. It's the same vibe. You're not old, Denise. You're fucking 36, okay? Like, what are you talking about? You grew up with caller ID. It's not a fucking new feature. You know how phones work. Figure it out, Denise. I get mad because she is like, she flips it back on me. I'm like, dude, why do you answer the phone like you're confused? And she's like, oh, well, I guess it's because I'm old. And I'm like, why are you getting mad at me right now? I just pointed out like something legitimate. You could have just been like, yeah, I don't know how phones work. You know what? Whatever. I'm in therapy. Fuck you. Okay, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, she's like, Tom? And I'm like, yes. It's me, your brother. You have my number. It's in your phone. What do we got? Fred Flintstone. One of my most favorite jokes I ever wrote was Fred Flintstone's punchline. Wait. Fred Flintstone's slogan if he was autistic. Yabba dabba don't fucking touch me. Now, the gold to that joke is the fucking punchline. Yabba dabba, don't fucking touch me. What I've noticed with comedy, like any art form, well, I've talked a bit about how I think all art is related. There's all art springs from creativity, and creativity is not, limited to a given medium. It takes place in whatever medium you wish it to, So whether you're cooking, telling jokes, playing music, painting, it's all from the same wellspring inside of you. You know what I mean? It's all the same current. So when I write jokes, it's not just about the content. Everyone says, I started getting into comedy. The number of people when I got into comedy who were like, well, comedy's all about delivery. No fucking shit. The number of people who said that to me, comedy's all about delivery. Really? Is it really all about delivery? Really? Holy fuck. I never thought of that. Comedy's all about delivery. Driving is all about steering. Are you kidding me? Driving's all about steering? Yeah, it's pretty crucial. No fucking shit, it's crucial. God, fucking, Jesus Christ. Comedy's all about delivery. Thanks, Tips. Thanks for the keen insight. Jesus Christ.
Welcome.
Oh, whoops.
To the show.
Bunch of fucking bullshit.
I guess we'll jam out. I gotta be careful. Fuck. Check.
Shut the fuck up.
Wow, what a good intro. Who made that? Me. I made it.
Fucking hate that.
Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the comedy. Oh, the fucking Fred Flintstone bullshit. So, yeah, that pissed me off. Comedy's all about delivery. Fucking thanks, dude. Anyway, yeah. So this punchline, and when I write jokes, it's not just about the content. It's not just about the delivery. I mean, obviously the word choice is really important too, but I feel like when people say that, the word choice, the delivery, it's not just about like being wacky or like high energy. Like part of that to me means what you're saying has to flow correctly, like a song. It has to work together. And it's so when you're like it's all about delivery, of course, yeah, but in a more nuanced way, all about delivery doesn't mean like making a weird face or like yelling. It's like you have to write words, not just jokes too, but like when you're writing, you have to write words so they flow together correctly. So when you speak or read it, it's pleasing to the listener. And so there's a real like musicality to it, because you have to think of like how the word sounds and how the language sounds coming out of your mouth and hitting the ears of the audience. So it's like, like it has to feel good. That's why a lot of time I just like say gibberish, because it like feels good to say. Even blah, 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 like that feels good to do. And like swearing feels good. I think that's why I swear a lot. I mean, there's other reasons too. But anyway, so yeah, so it has to feel and sound good, the words. And where I'm getting to this with the Fred Flintstone thing is I came up with that punchline years ago. I was still in university. It was at least 2 years ago. It was more. It was like 4 years ago I came up with that punchline. And I don't know why, I was just sitting around and I was like, yabba dabba, don't fucking touch me. I've always been really into like, replacing words. I always thought that was really great. When somebody's like, Tom, you need to get a larger couch. I'll be like, you need to get this dick. You know what I mean? Like, I like doing that. So the yabba dabba, don't fucking touch me. It just, I don't know. It just killed me. I wasn't around him. I was just sitting in my room and I was just like, that's hilarious. That sounds hilarious. And in fact, I could get an actual date on when I came up with this, because I posted in one of my group chats that I'm in with my frat homies. I was like, you guys, I just thought of this punchline. I need a joke for it. And I posted that punchline in the chat. And the jokes I got were back with shit. Nah, they were whatever, But, I was like, this is a dope punchline. It's fucking hilarious. And I just didn't have a joke for it. but I put it in the chat, and then literally, 4 years later, I don't know, I was trying to write jokes. I was sitting down one day, I was writing jokes, and I remember that punchline, and I was like, yeah, what would it be? And then it just came to me. I was like, Fred Flintstone's slogan if he was autistic. You know what I mean? Yabba dabba, don't fucking touch me. It's good. It would work in other places too. I could see it being like used by an irritable character in a movie, who's like maybe the grumpy guy, and he's like kind of puts the fun out things. He's drunk and he's like, yabba dabba don't. Someone's like, yabba dabba do, buddy. He's like, yabba dabba don't fucking touch me. You know what I mean? That would be funny too. So anyway, so yeah, I just thought that was kind of wild with the 2-year thing. Birthday list. Speaking of my sister, I was talking to her because in my family we have a ton of fucking birthdays in June. I feel like there's a ton of birthdays in June in general. But anyway, she was like, what do you want for your birthday? And then I sent her a list. It's like the most fucking depressing list. It's on my phone, which is filming me, so I can't read it. But it was like tweezers, a kettle, a cheese grater. Like all like just, it's like, dude, I really am turning 30. You know what I mean? It was just all adulting shit. So I sent her that, and yeah. Been watching Rogan. I mean, everybody knows Joe Rogan's just fucked. When I think of Joe Rogan, I really think of that saying from Batman, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Because when he started to take off, dude, he could do no wrong. Everyone, I remember being so enamored with him because, dude, talk shit about the guy all you want, but the interview style that he brought is a nice piece of art. It's a good thing. He's doing really long interviews with interesting people with weird, wild shit. It's cool, man. It's fucking cool, Now, he's a big idiot for a lot of reasons, and the people he brings on sometimes are like poor choices. I'm thinking really of like Alex Jones, as entertaining as it may be, definitely questionable whether that guy deserved a platform, to say the least. You know what I mean? So, talk shit about, but it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing. Interviewing all these wacky people is neat. I feel like it helped pave the way for like All Gas No Brakes. If you know him, he's a fucking neat guy too. Interviewing mad crazy people. Anyway, but I was just thinking, it's like, everything is a scam or a conspiracy on Joe Rogan. And my homie who likes the fruity beers fucking loves Joe Rogan. One time, I was sitting with him and my cousin. We were just, we were having lunch. And then I was talking about my teeth brushing game. I'm like, yo, I'm up on my teeth game. I'm flossing. My cousin's like, oh, sick, man. Nice work. And the homie who listens to Joe Rogan, he's like, man, the dentist is such a scam. Straight-faced. Yo, the dentist is a scam. Excuse me? What'd you just say? You heard me, bitch. The dentist is a scam. Dog, what the fuck are you talking about? It's those moments where your friends say some shit and you just the mental brakes just clamp down. You just skid and you're like, what, dog? And I get mad at him because it's like, yo, now I have to address this with you. You've made your ignorance into my problem because now we have to discuss this and it's going to be unpleasant. You know what I mean? The dentist is a scam. Are you fucking high? You were at the dentist on the laughing gas and now you're talking shit. Now, of course, I'm ripping on him. He did qualify it after. He was like, he was like, well, I mean more like the prices are too high or whatever. But the sentiment was there. It was too late. The sentiment was there. He said what he said. You know what I mean? So I just thinking like Joe Rogan, man. Rogan is on one all the time where he's like, yo, man, this is a fucking scam or aliens are real. And it's like the content of the conspiracy is what he's saying is really irrelevant. It's just the fact that every other thing is like some bullshit scam. It's like, why don't you chill the fuck out, you bald-headed fuck? But I was washing dishes and I was thinking about, my homie who said the dentist is a scam and Joe Rogan, and I could just hear Rogan being like, you don't even really have to wash your dishes.
You know what I mean? You could just let them get dirty. I mean, what's the consequence of not washing your dishes? They just pile up. But if they pile up, so what? You know, they're just piled there. They're not hurting anybody. They're not saying poor things. You know, it's the difference between doing the dishes and not doing the dishes that makes people really successful. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you've ever done DMT, you know what I'm talking about. You know, like just some fucking stupid shit like that. Joe, just do your fucking dishes, bro. Nobody wants to eat food at your house off of dirty dishes. Clean your fucking dishes, bro. It's not a conspiracy. The government is not going to tax you more if you clean your dishes. You're okay, buddy. Use that fucking Spotify money. Put it to good use. Clean your fucking dishes. You know what I mean? Yo, watch the cleaning dishes conspiracy come out on Rogan next episode. Watch that shit. You know what I mean? Also, shout out to my homie Joe Rogan. But shout out to Joe Rogan because I feel like his podcast is getting more and more. I mean, it is mainstream, but you know, the guests he have on are still kind of weirdo guys. But he had on Demi Lovato and Robert Downey Jr. You know what I mean? So it's becoming like more like a late night show, which is kind of neat, I think, for him. You know what I mean? So, you know, congrats to you, bro, for kind of cracking into the real mainstream audience. You know what I mean? So, yeah, anyway. Yeah, dishwashing is a scam. Joe Rogan said it. I heard it. What do I got here? Sidewalks. Sidewalks is such a timeless thing to hate on things I hate. It's come up again and again. Shout out to the homie Tatiana. You know, she fucking hates that shit. Dude, I hate that shit too, man. Don't block the sidewalk. Stick to the right. It's so fucking aggravating. It's so aggravating when people don't walk on the right side, man. It's so fucking... It just never... I know I talked about it, but it just never gets old. It drives me nuts. Walk on the fucking right, man. We all have to use the sidewalk. Go on the right. Fuck, it kills me. I don't know. Therapy, I guess. I need more of it. I don't know. But, you know, maybe I'll never get over this. I don't know. 2 sidewalk-related things happened to me recently. I'll start with the positive one, then we'll end on the negative one. Nothing feels good like negativity, baby. Anyway, so what the fuck? Oh, yeah, so, you know, walking on a sidewalk, some stupid lady walking in front of me on her phone, yammering away, in the middle. Pick a fucking lane. She's not even on the wrong side. She's in the middle drifting like some idiot. Hello? Use your fucking eyeballs. So, okay. I walk up behind her. Great. Now I have to deal with this. I say, you know, the classic white, excuse me, or like, excuse me, ma'am, sorry. You know, I don't know, one of those. I forget which one. And then to my pleasant surprise, she was like, she's like, oh, I scared her. She's like, oh. And then she kind of laughed. She's like, oh, I'm taking up the whole sidewalk. And part of me right there wanted to be like, yeah, you're fucking right. And if you know it, why don't you do something about it, you stupid idiot? But I chilled out and I gave her kind of like, yeah. You fucking are. Anyway, so that kind of happened. Another thing that happened, I was quite angry about. And this feels like a real Seinfeld or Larry David moment. I was going for a walk in the sun because sometimes I like to go for walks. And you know what? I stick way to the right when I walk because I try to practice what I preach. I was walking on a path. I was to the right, off of the path. Off of the path. You know, there's like the bike path, you know, walk in parks. I was on the grass, walking on the grass. Minding my own business. I hear behind me suddenly a noise, you know, kind of like tick, tick, tick. Then I hear these words. Oh, excuse me, sir. In a tone similar to that, less dramatic. I'm adding flavor for the story, but in a similar tone. a tone encouraging movement on my behalf. Now, I'm immediately indignant. Immediately. Because I'm very conscious of my position on the sidewalk. And I make a big effort to make sure that I'm not a burden to others, to my shared patrons of the sidewalk. Fuck me. I make a big effort to make sure I'm not a burden to my shared patrons of the sidewalk. So when I hear a correctional tone behind me, yeah, I get mad immediately. Because, hey, fuckface, I'm already doing a lot to make sure I'm not fucking with you. So how dare you accuse me of burdening your day? Yet here we are, a voice behind me saying, excuse me, in a tone that encourages movement on my behalf. I'm quite irate, having gone through that whole emotional process I just described. I turn around, and what do I see? I see two people. One of them is blind. The other is his fucking helper or friend. I don't know. Now, ironically, the blind person I have no issue with. They're fucking blind, I get it. It's tough. Can't see shit. It's hard. You got to walk on the sidewalk. Yeah, that's a big challenge. It's a disability. It's called a disability for a reason. You've lost the ability to do something. It's tough, You got to have your stick out, clacking around, clack, clack. I get it. No. I had no problem with that blind person. He's trying to live his life. He's got his buddy helping him out. What I had an issue with is shithead McFuckgee. And you know why? I immediately hated this person, the helper, because, I was having actually an interesting conversation. Somebody said I called somebody, I think I was with some friends, and we were like, haha, yeah, that fucking nerd. And then, I don't know, talking about somebody. And then one of my friends was like, oh man, but I love nerds. And then I was like, no, it's not, when I say call people nerds, well, sometimes, but anyway, it's not, like, being a nerd has become so romanticized and such a positive thing now that it's like, yo, no, we have forgotten. It's like the word nerd is like in movies, in fantasy movies, when they're like, eons ago, there was like a big catastrophe or like a monster that attacked a village. And then there's like a story about it, right? Warning future generations. Maybe like the monster attacks the village and then like the village like fights it off and puts the monster to sleep or like locks him in a cave or some shit. And then there's a story in the village like, don't go near that cave because you're going to wake up the monster and fucking kill us all. Or, like don't bring the ancient stone to the ritual to, there's some warning story that gets passed down. And then it gets passed down ages and ages, and it becomes so watered down and diluted that the ancestors, the descendants go, oh, it's just a story, we can go fucking put the stone in the ancient water ritual because it's just a story, we're just fucking around. It's like, no, you're gonna wake the monster and the monster's gonna fucking slaughter everybody. That's like the dilution that I just described. That's what's happening. That's what has happened to the word nerd. You know what nerd used to mean? Well, there were probably a lot of people who got it. But like nerd used to mean, among other things, you don't have good social skills, which is a good thing to call somebody out for. If you're like a fucking piece of shit who doesn't know how to interact with people, you need somebody to tell you, hey, shithead, you got to work on that. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be around you if you're going to be obnoxious. So where the fuck was I going with this? Oh my God. I'm really on one today. Oh yeah, the blind bitch. Anyway, so yeah, so it's I'm bringing that word back a bit. I'm bringing the punch back, and the way I use it is it's like, hey, fuckhead, you're being pretty obnoxious, you fucking nerd. Why don't you open up your eyes and pick up on some social cues? You know what I mean? You fucking nerd. You know, you're shit nerd. You're shit nerd. So anyway, so you want to talk about nerds? This blind helper guy is a motherfucking nerd. And he gives me that tone. Excuse me, sir. Bitch, I'm off of the walk. I'm off of the... I know the guy's blind, but like, you know, we're outside. We're in a huge place. I'm not on the path. You want me to move further to fucking, you know, accommodate your blind friend? Yeah, he's blind. So what, man? We all got problems. I'm trying to enjoy my walk, bitch. Why the fuck you want me to move just because he's blind? He can't walk around? What is his legs broken too? You know? I know he can't see. That's why he's got you, you fucking idiot. You want me to move just so blind homie can enjoy stepping where I'm stepping? Dude, I'm just trying to walk. Why are you pushing me off the path further? I'm already not on the path, dog. Why don't you use the path? You know what I mean? Why you got to go right where I'm going? I'm just trying to live my life, you know? Blind homie, he's just trying to live his life. Why you got to put blind homie in a conflict situation? You know what I mean? What if I was some crazy piece of shit? You tell me to move, I fucking jump you guys. You know, maybe I had a bad day. I snap, move, you blind fuck, and I beat him to death with his own blind stick. Maybe that happens, all because you stupid shit nerd, you know, don't have any social skills. You can't tell that I'm already off the path, trying to live my fucking life. You know, why can't you just walk around? You know what I'm saying? I knew he was a fucking nerd too, because he was wearing a Cuban ass hat, a fedora, a fucking polo, you know, short sleeve shirt with the collar, and shorts that were way too tight. I could see this man's whole ass crack in his fucking shorts, and I didn't see his front, but I know if I saw his front that those shorts would be gripping his nuts big time. You could see the whole jabroni shit inside his fucking shorts. That fucking shit nerd, man. I hope he fucking dies. Fucking, you know, and I'm sorry for the blind guy, man. I'm sorry you're friends with such a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Your life is hard enough as it is already. You can't see shit, can't experience the joys of vision. And now you're friends with some piece of shit blind ass, or some piece of shit asshole who's trying to help you out. You know, there's a lot of fucking nerds doing charity work. Just because you do charity. Oh my God, that was so disrupting. We're at an hour already? Dude, I didn't even crack my fucking... We didn't even do jokes today. You know, just because you do charity doesn't mean you're a fucking piece of shit. You know what I mean? I stand by that. I don't do charity. And I'm a piece of shit. But it's not, there's some kind of mathematical thing I could use here. But anyway, if I went back to school, I would take mathematics. It's fucking rad. Yeah, I'm smart. Suck my dick. That was a flex. If I could go back to school, I'd take mathematics. Yeah, okay, you fucking nerd. Anyway, yeah, just because you fucking take a blind dude on walks doesn't mean you're not a piece of shit. I don't care how this makes me sound. I'll say it. Fuck you, man. Whatever. You know? One of my comic icons, Tom Segura, said it, man. Just because you're disabled doesn't mean you're not a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Now, in this case, like I said, I didn't have a problem with the blind guy. But yeah, fuck that fucking nerd. You talk to me in that tone? Excuse me, sir. Sometimes I wish I was more crazy, you know, so I could just snap and kick the shit out of people and be justified. Somebody was like, dude, why'd you do that? And just be like, you know me, man. I'm fucking crazy. You know, I hear voices. I don't know. That'd be like a nice get out of jail free card. You know what I mean? I mean, you'd probably be in jail or like a mental hospital. So maybe a catch-22 there, but I think you get what I'm talking about. Anyway, look, that was fucking rad. Really went off. You know what I mean? I hope I don't do my best episodes when I'm drunk. That would be troubling. But we'll end on some fucking jokes, and then I'll get out of here. So here we go. Jokes. Let's go. Jokes. I had a harsh rap lyrics lined up for today. I had a fucking ton of fucking topics. I didn't even fucking crack them. I just started going off. Oh yeah, all right, cool. All right, jokes. Here we go.
Where's my fucking logos? Dating is like Sudoku. One wrong move at the start and it fucks it all up. It's kind of depressing. Phone cases are hijabs for phones. Oh, God. How are you under pressure? Well, I'm down to 2 panic attacks per coffee, so you tell me. I used that line before. I don't know. I'm fucking around with the coffee thing. I don't do drugs because I have panic attacks after drinking a cup of coffee. No. Drug addicts impress me. They're popping pills, snorting lines, and going to work. Meanwhile, I'm having my second panic attack from my first cup of coffee. We get it, Tom. You can't handle coffee. All right. God, computers are so addicted to electricity. Why don't they just live in the moment? I like that. My TV didn't have a remote. And other struggles boomers blow out of proportion. Fuck. Yo, I like this one. This girl on a dating app had the phrase, teach me something about life. So I robbed her. So I'd be like, so I stabbed her. Yeah, whatever. Therapy. Fuck you. All right. That was good. I went off pretty hard.